Geekazine and Geek Smack is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network over at techpodcast.com. If it's tech, then it's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, ho, 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 happy, 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 happy holidays. This is Jeffrey Powers, and this is your Geek Smack a little bit late. I shouldn't have done that. I'm dizzy. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that, the Ford trip, and everything that's coming up. And we're going to do it right now. But first of all, I want to tell you, we're sponsored by this week. Our friends over at Mozy are back with Mozy Pro. Learn how you can get yourself 15% off for your small, medium business. Go over to Stitcher.com/geek and download the software. Win yourself $100. And of course, stop dreaming, start streaming. Get yourself a Roku. Prices as low as $49. Go over to Geekazine.com/Roku to find out more. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, ho and a ho and a ho and a hap 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 and and holla 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 and a day day day. Happy holidays, ladies and gentlemen. It is the week before the holidays, and yeah, I really didn't decorate too much. I mean, I put up the bare necessities for the holidays. Of course, I've been running ragged, had a lot of issues, and it's been a really wild week. Of course, last week I went to Detroit to see Ford and what they're doing. We've got a great bunch of videos that came out, the Ford videos, and then of course we're going to be I walked through with a whole bunch of other people, walked through the Ford auto plant, and we got to see cars being made, and they talked about it. That video is still to come. I think I'll have it tonight or tomorrow up on Geekazine.com. Got back from Detroit, and boy, life went downhill. Now, for those of you who didn't know, my car actually died 2 days before. I think it's the fact that it realized I was going to Ford and said, hey, I'm not a Ford. So the battery died. So I thought I had to replace the battery. And because, I was like 4 years old. So I replaced the battery, and the battery died. The next day I went in the car and it wouldn't start. Battery was dead again. So I decided, well, I don't need the vehicle right now. I'm going to Detroit and might as well not even bother with the shop. So I made plans, and then when I got back, I'd take it and get it all fixed up. Well, when I got back on Thursday, all of a sudden things went downhill as I just had these dizzy spells, and I couldn't figure out why. Well, I have high blood pressure, so I thought it was that at first. But then I finally went to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, you have a little bit of inner ear, what's called the air flight ear, I guess they call it, or something like that. And basically what happens is as you fly, you get a little bit of congestion in the ear, and it's made me a little bit warbly. So if I fall down during the show, now you know why. Hopefully I won't fall down during the show. I don't think I will. I haven't before, so. But anyway, got the truck in, and they tested it out, and they found nothing wrong with it. We were trying to figure out what was draining the battery, but nothing was draining it. And then I realized that when we took out the battery to charge the battery, we put back the battery and the horn just went wild, so we disconnected the horn. And now it looks like the car is all fixed, kind of. The horn needs to be replaced, but that can be done just a little bit later down the line. It's way too cold to do that type of stuff here. I don't think I want to have an auto shop do it. It's just take out a couple screws, replace the horn, plug it back in. So anyway, so that's what happened to me this last week. Didn't get much done. Of course, I did the Ford stuff. Gonna get some other videos, some videos I never got up on Geekazine before. I'm gonna try and get them up in the next couple days before the Christmas and New Year. You'll have great content to go. And of course, getting ready for iPad 365, the new show coming on January 1st. We're gonna be doing an application a day for 365 days. What does that entail? Well, just that, an application. On Mondays, we're gonna be doing business apps. On Tuesdays, we're gonna be doing games. On Wednesdays, we got utilities. Fridays is a viewer choice. If you want to review an application, send me a video. It's as simple as that. Fridays, we have Wildcard, and Sundays is Fun Day. So we're going to have a well-rounded. And Thursdays is something I just can't ever remember what I'm going to do on Thursdays. Anyway, so that's iPad 365. Finally, CES is around the corner. It's only 3 weeks away. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we still need your donations. So if you go over to the show notes over on Geekazine, you'll find the place where you can actually donate 25, 50, 100, or your choice up on PayPal. And we thank you very much for all of those that have donated already to keep our stuff going. Because, it's $6,000 just for an internet connection at CES. And we're going to have just as many videos, if not more, for you this year. And we're going to do some things a little bit differently that we did last year. We still have the booth to stream from, so you're going to see all the action as it unfolds, and that's the coolest part. So anyway, enough about that. I've been blah, blah, blah for 5 minutes. Let's get into your Tech Smack.
Tech Smack.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is your Tech Smack. You can find all the show notes over at Geekazine.com. Geekazine.com. Go over to Geek Smack, and it's pretty much on the front page. You'll see all the show notes. Subscribe to the show notes, and you'll get them in your email box every single week. We got it up on a Google group as well. And, of course, check me out over on Google+, and you can get that. So, anyway, let's start. We're over on PC Mag, and the article is about a judge saying that Motorola has any Android phone that came from Motorola would be violating some Microsoft patents. U.S. International Trade Commission judge on Tuesday ruled that Motorola Mobility infringed on a Microsoft patent in making Android handsets. It's just the handset that they have the patent on. Theodore Essex will be reviewed by the full commission, which makes the final decision. So around April 20th of 2012, we'll find out if Motorola owes Microsoft some money or whatnot. So if you want to read more on that, go over to PCMag.com. All right, going over to Ars Technica, the RIAA, who's back in the news once again. They gave out their report card, and they basically said, "Hey, Google, you're not doing what you were expected to do," giving them bad marks. Basically, Google announced an initiative about a year ago to combat illicit file sharing on various websites. The RIAA had marked the 1-year anniversary, an announcement that said that basically, hey, you're not doing what you plan to do, and so they want you to kick in gear, and so that's what the RIAA is saying right there. They grade Google's efforts to date as incomplete. Now, Google's done a lot in the last year, and of course, they've come out with some new stuff. They have to worry about their own stuff too, but they do have to worry because they're in the job of search, and now they're in the job of search and destroy. I don't know. Anyway, what do you think? Do you think that that Google's been doing a good job, been doing a bad job, been doing a job? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. Of course, you can always Twitter me over there. I'm happy to take your Twitters. I'm happy to talk to you over email. And you can also call me at 608-205-4378. All right, let's go from here to here. This is over on fastcompany.com. This is an interesting article. It basically says that if you are in the social media, social networking part of location-based social media, most businesses that have adopted this idea have not really seen a good return on it. In fact, they say it's only a 2% return to the service. Now, I'm thinking, that does sound a little bit bad, but if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, that's good. Out of every 100 people, 2 people use Facebook Places or use Foursquare. And maybe they'll get that free drink or that free upgrade or whatnot. But the reality is, you still got to check in. And I think that's the biggest thing is nobody really wants to check in to something to get something. Because that's more work just to get a free upgrade or maybe a beer if once you become the mayor or something like that. It's a little game, and a lot of people have felt that this is not the way of going that people should be going. But the reality is this. If you know how to work your social media, you make it happen. You make it work. So maybe them checking into Foursquare to get you a cappuccino or whatever upgrade is not going to work for them. But what if I talked to you at the counter and said, hey, did you check into Foursquare just yet? They said, no, I haven't used Foursquare yet. You should check in. And if you do that, I'm going to give you this free cookie. Or maybe if you're a pizza place, instead of them coming to you to check into Foursquare, you're calling on the phone or they're calling and ordering a pizza and you go, yeah, can we Foursquare check in your pizza location? Yes. Okay. So when I drive to your pizza place to your house and deliver your pizza, I'm going to check into Foursquare saying, hey, Joe just ordered a pizza. Reverse location based marketing works just as well. So there are other things that you can do. This 2% impact on business, it's a good article. Read it. It's on the Fast Company if you're into social media. But remember this, law of averages saying that 2% is going to turn into 4% next year. 4% is going to turn into 8% next year, so on and so forth. As people start to use these programs, they're going to really start to use these programs. It's not happening right now because everybody's getting used to it and they don't know the deals just yet. And you got to offer some better deals sometimes. Maybe the 500th check-in will win an iPod, things like that. Fastcompany.com if you want to read more on that article. All right, moving over to Gigazine. Sprint is talking about a patent lawsuit. It was a patent lawsuit that they did before with Vonage on, what was it? It was basically for license fees. And now Sprint has decided that we're going to sue Time Warner and Comcast, Cable One, and Cox Communications for according to these patents. Now, Bloomberg reported, we got it off of Gigazine, but Bloomberg reported on this. It's kind of, it's an iffy patent lawsuit. There's a chance that they could lose it, but why not? You know, it worked for them once and might want to give it a try again. So if you want to read more about it, go over to Gigazine. Of course, they'll have the link to Bloomberg, and all of our links are over on Geekazine. What do you think? Do you think that Sprint can hold the candle to getting some money? A lot of people said once the AT, and we're going to talk about AT&T and T-Mobile on the feature here, but Sprint had actually jumped up 7% when the AT&T T-Mobile merger was pretty much dissolved. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now, check it out over at Gigazine.com. Do you like the shirt, by the way? You might not see with the beard. Okay, that's what Siri said. Love it. It's lolshirts.com. Check that out. We're going to do different shirts during iPad 365 during the games. I'll have different LOL shirts on there. But of course, a new sponsor rolling in LOL shirts. Thank you very much. Check it out. And I'll have the link in the show notes. Speaking of Siri, Apple Siri doesn't really understand the British. For some reason, to understand what we're saying that they're doing. And of course, the Southerners, I don't know, I'm just making all these accents as I go. But apparently, it's great to use if you've got a regular English, if you don't have major accents or inflections. But if you have any type of other accent, then Siri might go, wait, I don't know, what are you talking Klingon? Maybe I should talk. Somebody should. I don't have Siri on my phone because it's a 3GS, but somebody with a 4S, start talking Klingon and see if it responds to you. That would be kind of cool. Anyway, if you want to check on this, go over to foxnews.com. Google is invested in some solar panels, $94 million worth. This is according to VentureBeat.com. Basically, they're putting together $94 million in solar power, so it can use more green energy. Solar. Okay. They plan to be on solar on their Sacramento, California plant within the next year. So it's pretty cool stuff. If you want to check that out, go over to VentureBeat.com and you can read that article. All right, let's move over there from here. Skype is giving away free holiday Wi-Fi at U.S. airports, which is pretty cool. There's only 50 of them, and I think we got the map. Yeah, there's the map right there. So you can basically sign into Skype. You go to Tools, Options, Skype Wi-Fi Access. You enable the Skype Wi-Fi access, connect to the Wi-Fi public hotspot, click Tools, Skype Wi-Fi Access, and follow the instructions. This only happens from December 21st to December 27th. And as you can see, the airport and the amount of airports are pretty limited. I mean, I'm going to Vegas. I don't see Vegas on there, but, I'm going to Vegas on January 6th. And yeah, even Madison, it's got Milwaukee, it looks like. It's got Chicago, both Chicago and Midway. And maybe if I go to I don't think I go to Minneapolis. I think I go down to Chicago. Maybe I don't know. But it's a lot of steps just to use the Wi-Fi for free. I don't know if it's going to work or not. They need to simplify it a little bit more. And maybe some of the other airlines will have Wi-Fi for free like they've done the last couple of years. I don't know. Check that out. If you want to read more on that, go over to cnet.com. All right, Apple is buying a company on their flash storage creation. It's a company called Anabit, and they purchased it for around $500 million. So basically, they could actually start working harder on flash memory stuff, including MacBook Airs, including iPads with 64 gigabytes and 128 gigabytes worth of memory. I know a lot of people that have their iPads and they're saying, 16, 32, and 64 is just not enough. We want 256 gigabytes in our iPads already. So this is a perfect purchase for Apple. We'll see what happens here, but I think that they made a great decision and they made a great purchase. So if you want to read more on that, go over to eweek.com. All right, going from there to a brand new website called ZME Science. Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen has decided to, hey, I want to get into that space race. So he's created a whole bunch of planes. What's that? That's weird. Anyway. Oh, I see. It's their little sidebar. Anyway, you can probably see that right there. The whole point is that they're creating double side, what do they call it? Double jet, 6 jets on it. Basically get you into space so you can cross the atmosphere, just like Richard Branson's doing. Just like, who else is it? Elon Musk, PayPal founder. Jeff Bezos is doing with Blue Origin. So the company's called Straddle Launch, and they're just going to do this project right now, which is building the massive aircraft. And when it's completed, it'll have the largest wingspan in the world, at least at that time. So if you want to read more about this, go over to ZME Science. It's a new website. So once again, if you see any problems, let me know, and we'll change out the links. All right, finally, there's this company called Vlingo, and Nuance wanted it, and they've kind of went through back and forth on some patent issues. Finally, Nuance said, hey, we want to buy you, and Vlingo said, okay, let's do it. So they finally acquire them. The deal is done. Nuance is buying the company for an undisclosed sum, and so basically, it's possibly Vlingo could become the Siri for Android. Now, what does this mean for Siri? Because from what I understand, some of Nuance's technology is in the Siri. They'll still happen. They'll still work just like they do. There's going to probably be no change, except now that Nuance can go after the Android market, since there isn't a good Siri for Android phones. There is a couple programs out there, but nothing has really risen to the top just yet. So if you want to read more on that, go over to techcrunch.com. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that's the end of part 1. We're not doing a Geek Smack crap this time. Since it's the holiday season, we'll give you a rest on that. But we're going to be right back with your Geek Smack right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's difficult to find a good employee. It's difficult to find a good supplier or a good chain. And sometimes it's even difficult to find a good, company to back up all your data. Yeah, but, one thing gets overlooked. Yeah, it's all about protecting data. This computer needs to be protected. My business, my small business needs to be protected from issues like hard drive failure, like theft, like fire, like water damage, like anything. That's why I back up now. I back up often, and I back up offsite with a program called Mozy. And if you're a business, especially a small to medium business, you might want to check out Mozy Pro. Mozy Pro can help you recover your data from a single laptop or server by simply having it upload to the cloud. I want to tell you about Mozy, which is the most trusted name in online backup. They back up more than the entire written word of mankind from the beginning of recorded history in all languages. Mozy Pro backs up Windows PCs, Macs, servers from over 70,000 organizations and small businesses like GE, Starwood Hotels, Accenture, Subway restaurants. They even back up major universities like Stanford University and Yale School of Management, many, many more. It's a great way to back up your files and back them up now and back them off often. And then when disaster strikes, you just basically go up on the web, you reload everything, go up on the web and bring it all back. Just as simple as that. Easy to use, saves you time, costs up to 80% less than any other solution, giving you peace of mind and eliminating the costs of your data and data loss. And a lot of people, a lot of things you don't know, a company that loses their data on a computer it takes a lot of time. And if it's a major server, then they could find themselves in a bankruptcy situation simply because of the fact they can't recover on it. It's really simple. Backup now, backup often, backup offsite onto a trusted server. You can even backup onsite onto your drives and backup offsite. So there's so many levels of protection. It's unbelievable. Try it yourself. Try Mozy Pro free. I'm going to give you 15% off Mozy Pro. All you have to do is either go to mozypro.com, use the code podcast15, or call the phone number 877-669-9776. That's 877-669-9776. Remember that code podcast15. Podcast15 will save you 15%. And of course, it will help Geekazine and Geekazine properties. So that's over at Mozy. Backup now, backup often, backup for your small business with Mozy Pro.
Geek Smack.
If this still hurts. I don't think you can see the lights. They're lighting up. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hey, Rocky! Watch me pull a Christmas thing out of my hat! Again! Nothing up my sleeve! Presto! Anyway, sorry. Happy holidays, everybody. If you're celebrating Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. If you're celebrating Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa. Of course, if you're not celebrating anything else at all, get some sleep, and we'll see you when the holidays come around. And of course, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you Irishmen out there, because it's an Irish holiday. I don't know why it is. So we will have a show next week, and then of course the week basically what's happening next week, we'll have a show. And then January 2nd, we'll have a show. And then the week after, we'll be at CES, so we'll have no show. So we'll have two shows, one show. Actually, we'll probably take a 2 to 3 show break as I'm trying to get my sanity, trying to get all these videos for CES up. Once again, go over to Geekazine.com. You can find out how you can be a part of the CES action team. Anyway, let's get into your Geek Smack for this week. And we're going to start over on Device.com. Hey, if you're a guitarist, you'll love this. It's a guitar keyboard. And I see it looks like a numeric pad. It's shaped like a guitar, and I don't know if you can strum it or not. It looks pretty cool. I want to get it. It's called the Tab Strummer. It's a standalone programmable MIDI controller, and you can program the 12 buttons to do whatever you want. So there is a Rock Band version, free Rock Band version. It's not called Rock Band because it's an open source software where you can put it on your PC and you can play Rock Band. So maybe you can use this guitar with that. I don't know. Didn't say what the price was if they're selling it, but it's got a total of 3 internal memory song locations and can be played on a regular guitar. Or I'm sorry, can be 12 buttons with guitar chords that could be played on a regular guitar. So check that out. It's over on Device.com. All right, why'd that do that? Let's back up a second. Hold on. There we go. I went backwards. That was supposed to be last. But this is supposed to be first. It's called the 10 Strange Wonderful 2012 Calendars. Whew. Gotta calm down. Anyway, these are calendars you can actually get, like this one called the Mutter Museum. And if you're a chicken fan, then here you go. Extraordinary Chickens. Cadbury. Anyway, you got the Naked Archaeologist. Whoa, hey, you got there's just a whole bunch of funny little calendars that you could get. What was your favorite? Do you get handheld calendars anymore? Do you use them? This is kind of freaky. Hot guys and baby animals. I wouldn't do that. I'd probably get hot girls and baby animals. That would be kind of cool. Roman priest calendar. It's possible. The whole thing's on here, so check that out. It's it's over at mentalfloss.com. All right, going from there to Wired. Jupiter has been found for all you science geeks out there. Jupiter's found that the solid might have a liquefying core, or the core might be liquefying. It used to be solid, but as the climate changes have been going in Jupiter, it's liquefying its core. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that that Jupiter will just turn into a ball of water very, very soon? Will it just kind of spew out liquid or whatnot, or will it still stay Jupiter? Well, it's tough to say. I mean, they can assume on what's going, but they know that the pressures and temperatures are just completely off the charts. The magnesium oxide is so highly soluble that it's basically dissolving into liquid. So that's pretty cool. I'm just amazed as to how they're doing this science in space, of course. But check that out. It's over at wired.com. For all you skeleton geeks or phone geeks out there, check this out. This is over on chipchick.com. It is the Jumping Eyes Skull Phone. I guess it's just in time for Halloween, but you know, it's kind of holidays over almost. So anyway, the gadget, you can get it over on Gadget Brando for $25. If you still have a landline. I don't have a landline, and I don't expect to get a landline anytime soon. I did have one because this last year, because I was doing a test with Microsoft, and it was pretty good. I did some articles on that for Altiva. You can check that out over on Geekazine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are parachuters and you like the Parajet, check this out. This is over on lostinasupermarket.com. It's a flying, it basically got a parachute on it. It's got a fan on it. And of course, all the accoutrement, so you can have a good Parajet flight, I guess it is. So it's Parajet's latest flying gear. You can basically get it for about $11,000. So if you got $11,000 lying around, hey, you know, you can always donate to geekazine.com. Buy me a cup of coffee or two, supermarket gift card or something like that, and go from there. But, you know, hey, if you want to fly around in a Parajet, there you go. Lostinthesupermarket.com. All right, last part of part two, and we'll get you in the featured here. This is Vince Brasco. And what's really cool about it is he is, however you want to call it, midget, little person, whatever, 87 pounds, and he is a firefighter. He's the smallest firefighter, and he is 19 years old, and he is in Pennsylvania, Carbon, Pennsylvania, and he's fighting fires, and they're letting him do it, and I applaud them for it. Of course, in this day and age, height shouldn't matter, size shouldn't matter. You know, maybe someday somebody like Vince Brasco will be playing in the NFL or playing in the NBA. You know, you never know. It's actually pretty cool that on this article, so I linked to it. So check it out. It's over at the Huffington Post.com. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's the end of the second part. We're going to get you to the feature. In the feature, we're going to talk about AT&T and T-Mobile and how that went. But if you have any comments, any questions, anything, let me know. Twitter me at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. We'll be right back with your feature presentation after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know, you can always get the audio version of Geek Smack and every other Geekazine show, including Day in Tech History. And yes, we will be doing the audio version of iPad 365, and you'll be able to get it on Stitcher. Smart radio for your smart mobile device. Whether it be Apple, Android, whether it be WebOS, whether it be BlackBerry, You can download this great application and you can listen to all your audio shows. And the best part is it's one after the other. So you're listening to one podcast, and when it's done, it goes to the next podcast. It goes to the next podcast, and that goes to the next podcast. Can't go wrong there. And the best part is you download the software through the link I'm going to tell you in a second, and you could win yourself $100 by going over to Stitcher.com/geek. Stitcher.com/geek. You could win yourself $100 by simply downloading free software for your mobile device. That's Stitcher, internet radio for your mobile device. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks a lot for watching the show. And I'd like to thank everybody for watching the show during the year. Of course, we were the Geekazine Weekly Podcast, and then come April, May, I made the big switch to Geek Smack as the format changed a little bit because I wanted to get some more geek stuff in there. Of course, the everything else has stayed the same. Twitter's still Geekazine. The email's still geekazine@gmail.com. And of course, the hotline is still 608-205-4378. It's not on T-Mobile and it's not on AT&T, so you're fine. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about that AT&T T-Mobile merger. Now, I remember when it came out a year ago, and they said, well, AT&T is going to get T-Mobile. Everybody hated it. It was a bad idea, bad idea. It would turn everything into what's called a duopoly. Because you have a monopoly. You can't have that. But you can have a duopoly. No, you can't have that either. Duopoly would meant that AT&T and Verizon would have pretty much ruled the airwaves. And Sprint would have been number 3, and we wouldn't know it would have been number 4. But there would have been a number 4, and there still would be a number 4. Now, with AT&T and this $39 billion merger just going bye-bye, which isn't... AT&T still has some required payments to T-Mobile. There's still a $4 million deal, so T-Mobile can open up their spectrum so they can get more customers. But with this dropping, it's still questionable what T-Mobile's going to do. What should be done? I think if AT&T can't gobble them up, somebody else should. Who should gobble up T-Mobile? Deutsche Telekom, whatever you want to call it. What about number 5, which is I just spaced on the name. That was not singular, but oh, wow. I just completely spaced it out. Anyway, the whole point is this. T-Mobile's is wondering where their future is going to be. AT&T might end up buying them down the road when they become so needy for money that there's no choice. But a company down, that's trying to build up to become number 4 should also look into something like T-Mobile. Cellular One is the name of the company I'm thinking of, and they're in the Midwest. If you're in the Chicago area, you know about Cellular One. If you're on the East Coast or the West Coast, you might not know about Cellular One. But they aren't, from what I understand, they're number 5. They could easily become number 4, and they could easily become number 3 the way Sprint's really working their magic, because they're not working their magic. They have an iPhone. That's pretty much it. They have an iPhone with unlimited data capability. That's their crutch. That's their niche. That's their coup de grace. But a lot of people that have Sprint really don't care too much for Sprint. There's only a few people that I know of that care. And you might care for Sprint, and that's all well and good. But I've heard way too many stories about Sprint. I've actually had stock in Sprint, and I've dumped my stock in Sprint simply because of the fact that I didn't see them going in the right direction. So a company like Cellular One or these other ones, they could step up just as easily. I remember an article from 10 years ago, and it was the top 10 telecoms. And you had Verizon, you had AT&T, then it was Singular, and you had Sprint. And you didn't have T-Mobile. It was still called Deutsche Telekom. And then you had Alcatel, which was bought out by Verizon. And you had Vonage, which was bought out by they were all bought out except for AT&T. So when AT&T went to buy T-Mobile, that was a big problem. Everybody had a problem with that. I don't know. I think in the end, we're going to see the problem is that the resolution of this problem. All the people saying that T-Mobile is bad for AT&T, and then T-Mobile is just going to go and end up selling at a lower price to maybe AT&T or another company. Like I said, I think a company should put their eggs together and try and make a bid for T-Mobile and try and get those customers to build a better customer base. U.S. Cellular. Did I say Cellular One? U.S. Cellular. That's the name of the company. U.S. Cellular is doing some pretty cool things, including rewards points and buyback programs. So after 2 years, when your phone is no longer viable, U.S. Cellular is going to give you an opportunity to get another phone without having to pay $200 for the phone. That can't be bad, right? Sounds pretty good to me. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that this was a good idea? Do you think that AT&T should have gotten T-Mobile? Are you glad that AT&T didn't get T-Mobile? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine. And of course, my email address is geekazine@gmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I wasted enough of your time on this holiday season. The moose ears say it's time to go, and I think it's time to go. So I think we should make it so. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to the show. We're here every single Tuesday. Like I said, in 3 weeks when we go to CES, we will not have a show, but we still have 2 more shows before CES. If you want to help with CES, please do so by going over to tpn.tv. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you in here next week. Have a Merry, Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah and all those other great holidays. And ladies and gentlemen, most important, remember to geek out. Geek out. Take care.